Hi there, and welcome to How to Add Text in Adobe Illustrator. My name is LaDonna, and you can find me on social media, on Facebook as LaDonna Walker, on Instagram as LaDonna Walker, and also on several of my websites. We will visit one of my websites today so that I can show you text in a single line. You can add text on a path, like a circle or an oval. You can add text also in a shape. So we're going to get started by opening up Illustrator. Now I have Illustrator open down here already. So I am going to click Illustrator to open it. If you double click and open your Illustrator, it's going to go to a screen that asks you, what do you want to do? Do you want to open up a file that you've created before, or do you want to start with a new file? Right now I've selected new. So what we're going to do here is, the most important thing that you can do before you get started is two things. One, you want to have an idea of what you're creating so you can create a thumbnail sketch. And a thumbnail sketch is just a small drawing of what you hope to accomplish. You also want to measure where you're going to put this design, because this is the information that you can use right now in Illustrator. 9.3. For your width, you can also add 8.25. For your height, it's going to ask you, do you want to work in pixels or inches? I work in inches. The color mode is RGB, and the raster effects is 300 ppi. Now, if you are printing a document, you want to always select 300 ppi. If you only are creating a design that you want to share on social media or on your website, you can click Screen 72 ppi. But we're going to go ahead back to select 300, because we know that once we create this design, we're going to print it so that we can sublimate it on a Tumbler. So once you click 300, you're going to create. Hit the T on our keyboard to get the text tool, type class, click the pointer tool to commit, hit T again. Actually, you can hit T again if you like, but also you can copy and paste, because you know that either you can hold down, I'm holding down my Option key because I'm on a Mac, so I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm going to click and drag again. So what I will end up with is 3 types of text. Why did I enter 3 types of text as opposed to just typing everything? Because I don't want to look like this red class of 2022. So once we have class, we're going to double click or triple click, and we can type of, and we're going to commit that text by clicking on the selection tool, and we're going to triple click on class, and we're going to put 2022. Having this text separated like this will allow us to change some fonts, change the sizes, and place it how we want it to be. And that's exactly what I did with this over here in the green. Now, I know that I wanted to be a little creative, so I went to Google and I searched for a cap. Let's go over to Google so I can show you. I'm in Google, and here I'm going to search graduation cap clipboard. There it is, graduation cap clipboard. And I'm going to search. Here we go. I'm going to right click on this. Actually, let's do this. Let's go to images, and now we can right click and we can copy this image. We're going to go back to Illustrator, and I'm going to do a Command V to paste. This is how this object right now is like a JPEG, but we want it to be vector, because I can't put this hat right here. Okay, so the way that we get rid of that outside area, we're going to use we're going to go up to Object, and we're going to go to Image Trace, make and expand. So it has expanded, but we need to ungroup this so that we can take away the white. So with your mouse pointer still on this area, you're going to right click and you're going to ungroup. You're going to right click and ungroup once more. Normally it takes 2 ungroups. If you right click, you can see that there's no other ungroup. So for there, we can just pull up. We can just pull out the black hat. I'm gonna undo, or either we can take away the white area and hit delete. And that's how I got the cap. I did the same thing to get the tassel out of here to put it there. I want you to see something else. Let's skip over to this last artboard. This Plaquemine High School is referred to as plop, plop, plop. Just no thought given at all. No thumbnail sketch. We can't do that. We need to do a little bit more creative to your font. So what we're going to do here is, instead of having this senior that's going over horizontally, we changed it to vertical. We took out the I and put 2022. So this is a little bit more creative than just senior up here in the red. Now I want to show you how you enter text on a circle. Path is what is referred to. If you hit Command or Control 0, your artboard will expand and zoom in. I want you to see what I've done here. I have my rulers out now. When you first open up Illustrator, you may not have rulers. So you would want to hit Control R. Control R. On my computer, I have Command R, and I have a ruler that comes up at the top and one to the side. I use my rulers frequently just to make sure that my objects are centered, they're even. You can see that the L ends with the 2 and this P starts with the C, and we're going to use a top guide to make sure that all of our letters is starting at the same place. Now as you can see, I need to raise up my class so that it'll start with the 2022. Now I don't want this of can start up there, but it doesn't have to. If I start that of up there, then I have too much space in this area. If I'm going to leave this space, I maybe can put the tassel down here at the bottom on an angle, but right now it's too much space. So we're going to drop that down to make it seem like this is where we wanted it at. Everything doesn't necessarily have to be all green or all black. You want to change it up a bit just to be a little creative. To make sure that this is centered, let's say if I took this off there, put class over here, put 2022. This way to get this centered, I will show you another tool to use. You can click and drag over all of these items, and if you look straight up to the top, you will see alignment tools. You can align that center. That's the quickest way to get that lined and know that it's lined up. We're going to bring this down just a tad bit. It doesn't have to be so close. Now because I know I'm putting it on a tumbler, I may not want this to be so spacious, so I may bring things down, bring things up a little, and bring up. Again, once I do that moving freely, I will go back and make sure I've centered everything. Okay, so it's centered. Now this design here at the bottom is the same design over here on the left. I use the same objects. We are going to see how to put this text on a path, so in case you just want to do that. So what we're going to do is make a copy. Always make a copy before you distort or change any of your font. So I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. All right. We're going to move up Plaquemine High. We're going to make a, we don't need a copy. We already have it. Actually, let's undo that. I just did a Command Z to undo. We're going to pull up class of to the center like I have it. And all it's going to take is for us to get a shape. We're going to use the ellipse tool. And we're going to make this ellipse to oval. We're going to start at the 2 and we're going to end at the 2. I'm just clicking and dragging to get that oval. Go back to the selection tool and bring that up just a little bit. Now we don't have to fill this object with green, this oval. This is how you would change the color of font and shapes. You can change it here, over here in the properties panel under appearance. I can fill that with whatever color I want to fill it with. I can even fill it with no color by selecting none. I don't even have to have a fill color. Right now, if we hit escape, we get rid of that swatches panel. And we can see that there is a stroke. How do I know it's a stroke, a black stroke? Because it has black. If we said none, then we wouldn't have a stroke on this oval at all. Do I need a stroke? I think I need a stroke because I want to be able to put this text on this path. So we're going to do just a stroke, a small stroke, 1 point. Now, because we want Plaquemine High to go up there, we're going to do a Command C to copy. You're going to do Control C if you have a Windows computer. And we're going to go to the Type tool. If you hold down the Type tool, go to Type on a path. As you can see, our pointer changed from that triangle to another type of tool. And if we just rest that tool on top of the oval, and click one time, it will fill it with the placeholder text. Now remember, we copied Plaquemine Senior High by hitting Command C. Now all we have to do right now is select Command V to paste, and it pastes Plaquemine Senior High. We're gonna go back to the pointer tool, or we can just click out on the artboard. We click on the Plaquemine High, and if you can see the Plaquemine High, if you look in this area right here, there is a blue line. And if you touch the tip of that blue line, you're going to see an up arrow. That up arrow will help you to get Plaquemine High School at the top. So if I click, hold down my left pointer on my mouse, and drag up, Plaquemine High goes up to the top. Now we don't need this Plaquemine High here. We can delete this because we already have it over here. We can bring down Plaquemine High, and that's a little bit more creative than plop, plop, plop up here at the top in red. Now if I had to select what did I want to put on a tumbler, I would move all of this out the way. My personal preference would be to enlarge this Plaquemine High, because remember, we have a tumbler and it wraps around, and I really want to read at a glance. I don't want to have to turn the tumbler all the way around to read what it says. I would probably increase that and put font on the front, and I may put some wording maybe around the side to the back, like the person's name. In Illustrator, what we could do is we can create this font to make it be a shape by right-clicking and create outlines. Once we create this as an outline, we can take this O, this 2022, we're going to right-click and we can ungroup. We're going to click on the O because it's standing by itself right now. And we're going to go up to Object, Compound Path, and we're going to say Release. Once that releases, we can take out this, and we can use this as a photo holder. We can put the person's photo in here. We will be clipping the photo to this 0. Now, one more thing I want to show you is we've talked about how to change color. We're going to go back to our font. There's 2 ways you can change color. Over here in the Appearance panel, by selecting a color. You can go up here as well and see the same swatches and change color. Over here, there is the fill and stroke. You can use this arrow that's going around, and you can swap the colors by clicking on that arrow. So it changes from, if you want to swap it back, if you want to double click, and open up the color picker, you can double click and you can change this to be whatever color you want it to be by selecting a color and hit OK, and it changes. So that's 3 ways you can change color. Now one way that we did not talk about, because we have created this text to be no longer editable text. If you notice that we double click on this, we can only change the color. We cannot change the font no longer. So make sure that you're working on your document, and if you want to create outline because you want to break it up like I did here, do that last. Let's double click to get back to our board. There's 2. I don't have to just fill it with I can fill all of these with an image. I don't have to fill it with color. I can fill it with a pattern. I can fill it with gradient. And so here's your gradient options down here. You click here and you can double click on any of these and change your colors to make it be whatever you want it to be. So these are some of the tools that you will be working with in Illustrator. It's just so many tools.